Hey guys, Rich from Rich Mid Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you've all had a good week. Hope you've got some nice things planned for the weekend. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Bugle. And as always, right, he's part of the furniture now, right? It's Quinn. What was that look? Are you being furniture? Is that what you're?
Yes,
Is
that's
that
what
what
that
you're
is.
doing?
I mean, actually, if I just get out of frame, you can just have the chair on the screen.
That's fair enough. Quinn, loads of MCP news this week.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you know?
I mean, after such a long drought, it's really refreshing to just have like this absolute deluge of content, right?
I don't know what's going on. Like,
I
it's
mean,
been so long since we've had anything.
I know what's going on.
They're saving everything, aren't they, for the Ministravaganza?
No. They're dealing with the fact that they had like 3 fucking Star Wars games dumped at their front door, and they're like, "Oh, we have to do something with this." Uh-oh.
It does feel like the Star Wars stuff's getting a lot of attention at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's like the opposite of when like they first got brought over, and every single AMG post is a bunch of salty X-wing bastards going, "Oh, what are you doing, X-wing? What are you doing, X-wing?" It's like, fuck off. Go play a better game.
Is Armada dead? Is Armada? Yes, Armada's dead now. Fuck
Armada's
off.
been dead for 5 years.
Although I did see that they've released some new Armada stuff this week.
I mean, no actual new product, but yeah.
Isn't it
sure.
just like a game mode or something that they've done?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Spaceships have never really interested me, so I don't really care.
When does it start? It has started. It should have started. Yeah,
Oh.
it's started.
Okay, well, there's your answer. It started.
Guys, because we don't have any news, right? Because we don't have any news, we thought we would do we'd do a fun little thing, and take a look at every threat category in the game. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, missing 7, and then 8. And me and Quinn would pick our best and worst, basically. Which character we thought was the best, which character we think is the worst in each of those threat levels. And then we'll do a little poll at some point and see who you guys agree with more, basically. So, Quinn, did you say? It's
me.
It's really,
the only correct choice is me. You always agree with me.
It's really not.
Bad things happen.
It's really not you, is it? It's really not you, Quinn. Whilst I'm just like this, we've got some pretty cool things going on at the moment, haven't we? Oh, sorry, about to be going on in the weekend. At the weekend,
I'm housing a small boy from Birmingham. I'm sheltering him from like that life. It's part of a new charity project that I've been, invited to be a part of. The thing is, I don't think he'll ever see this because I don't know if he watches these bugles, but I hope he does.
Apparently, it's echoing.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm not sure if it's me, but I haven't been able to fix the audio. Okay, bear with us then. 1 second, guys. Let me just check. Let me just have a quick look and see why that is all echoing, because it shouldn't be. Just go back to here a second. No, that's muted. Yeah, guys, let me know in chat if anybody else is getting echoing, because I can't hear it and there's nothing else on from our side. So yeah, I'm not sure. Apologies, Ewan. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what we can do there, because it doesn't seem to be from my side at least.
I think it's all your fault.
Probably is. Most things are, I find.
Yep.
Most things are my fault. So let's jump straight in there, guys. Then, so we're going to start with 2 threat characters. So starting off for this one is going to be me. So I'm going to pick who I believe is the worst 2 threat character in the world. Now I want to preface this with Everyone's opinions are different, but mine and Quinn's are usually right.
What do you mean mine and yours? It's just mine. You are always wrong.
Just yours, yes.
You always say something ridiculous, and I go, well, listen, Rich, we're going to have a nice sit down, and I'm going to calmly explain this to you, and then you walk away feeling enlightened, because that's just what I do. I bring enlightenment to the world. That is my purpose on this earth.
That's actually utter bullshit. But yeah, there we go. So, 2 threats. My worst pick for 2 threats, Quinn. It's Wong. It's Wong. You can argue he does certain things. He can stand on a back point. He can heal Strange. I just don't. At least in my play style, Quinn, I see very, very little utility for him. I used to be a staunch defender of Wong. But
was that when defenders were still an actual affiliation in this game?
And I think he's just been hit even harder, right? He had a job at first, you know. Well, in defenders, he kind of maybe, a little bit. I'm not a fan of Wong at all.
I can say one thing for Wong.
Go on.
He's definitely a 2 threat.
He is a 2 threat. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is a 2 threat. So Quinn, your pick for worst character was different to mine. It was actually a certain Robert, wasn't it?
Robert Bobbert, Hydra Man.
So why Bob, Agent of Hydra?
He dazes himself. Why? Why would
you
want
really
that?
don't like that, do you? You really don't like that.
I think it's kind of a well-known thing at this point, though. In any game system, I always favour elite troops, right?
Yeah,
that's my thing. In Middle Earth, I play dwarves. I've got an Iron Hills dwarf army. I very much like the whole "I am a tough thing, you have to come kill me." What I don't like is when my stuff kills itself. Which, we'll get on to potentially in the next threat category as well.
In the next one as well.
I really hate that. Also, on paper, Bob's Rocket seems great, right? It's a 9 dice attack?
Yes.
With, guaranteed 2 damage explosive. That's, crazy good. And then you actually, play a game of MCP. And, play a game with Iron Fist, for example, and you do the Iron Fist on someone. What's the worst part about that attack, Rich?
The worst part about it?
Yeah, the worst part about the Iron Fist.
It's getting the activator token.
No, as in the worst for the person doing it.
Oh, I don't know. Usually you don't have the power on him, so he only gets to do it once he's dazed.
No.
Go on.
The worst part is that it's 9 dice with no modification, and it always rolls shit.
It does always roll shit, yeah.
Have you ever seen a good Iron Fist roll? Never, because they don't exist.
It is true. I don't mind the excessive violence. I think there'd be a lot more value in Bob. Actually, I don't think there is. Yeah, he's pretty bad. Let us know down in the comments, Bob or Wong, or who else? Who else have you got? Who else do you think?
Also, just going back to the whole dazing himself thing means that he's way worse at standing on a point than any other 2 threat bar Nebula and Honey Badger.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of him. I can't remember the last time I played with him. On to the best. So I get to do my best first, and then you'll do the 3 threats. This is a 2 threat who absolutely puts in the work. Yes, she might be the worst in the game at contesting a point in the fact that she can't, but it's Nebula. Why do I like Nebula? First of all, long move, right? Really nice. Means that you're generally getting off some attacks round 1. She's got a 4, her 4 dice builder isn't great, right? It's a 4 dice strike range 2. It does deal shock on a wild, which is quite nice. Putting a shock on a big character is nice. But for me, I often find myself using those blaster pistols round 1, guaranteeing those that 1 power basically. But where she really comes into her own is with her shock sword assault. 6 dice, energy, place yourself within 1, but if your opponent is contesting or holding an objective, full rerolls.
Get a Magneto attack.
I was going to
3
say
power.
it's as good as Magneto on a 2 threat. And with Nebula, the people that you're attacking are generally holding an objective or contesting an objective. So I really, really like that. She's also immune to quite a lot of the things that, because her power generation isn't great, but she's immune to a lot of the things that would make her even worse, right? So stun, poison, she doesn't care about. Immune to bleed, which is really nice. She kind of has...
with that kind of health pool.
Yeah, she has the reverse healing factor. So, she heals 1 at the start of her turn rather than 1 at the end. Which, I think for the most part works out to be the same. There are some niche where 1 is better than the other. But, 1 defensive reroll, 3/3/2 as stats are not bad for a 3 threat. She's above the curve. 4 stamina on her front isn't great, but she comes back with 5. So 9 stamina on a 2 threat is really nice. Although I would like to, it would be amazing reverse the other way around. But really with Nebula, you don't care as much because the reason you usually want characters front loaded is they can contest for longer. That doesn't happen with Nebula. So she's amazing in Guardians. I think she's going to be better than Bullseye in Criminal Syndicate under Shadowlands Daredevil, because giving her rerolls and being able to modify failures is really nice. A failure is really nice. So yeah, she is my pick for best. Quinn, we've disagreed again, and there are some of these that we do agree on, but you have gone with the most ridiculous name in MCP.
No. The most ridiculous name is Blackagar Boltagon.
Yeah. So why Bullseye, if people don't know? And apologies, guys, this is his old card. The only reason is I can fit 4 old style cards really nicely. So I know it's his old card. Go and look at his new one. But it's because it fits. But we're not too concerned about the cards, basically. It's just the character itself. But Quinn, why Bullseye?
Guaranteed damage is real good.
It's real nice, isn't it?
I mean, most 2 threats in the game are probably pushing A damage most times they attack anyway.
Maybe with the exception of Nebula, who I've just brought up.
But being able to effectively guarantee that you're doing that damage just... any sort of effect in this game where you can take dice out of the equation is always going to be powerful, right?
Yeah, it really is.
And I think, Bullseye definitely stands as a testament to that. He's also, a range 4 attacker, which is really nice having a character sitting on a back point contesting.
Yeah.
He's also got reactionary damage if people come after him, and if people forget about that, and suddenly he's thrown a knife at them, got his ward, they're bleeding, and then they hit him, and he goes, parting shot. Suddenly... at the end of their go, they're going to have 2 less health than they started with. That's potentially a daze or a KO on most characters. Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. And let's not forget the bleed as well, right? Getting the bleed out on his builder feels really nice against certain characters as well. So, guys, let us know down in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who's your favourite? Have we missed some off? I also like Rocket for that back point instead of Bullseye. But for me... I would agree that right now Nebula and Bullseye are in, are at least my top picks for definitely out of affiliation 2 threats. I think they both sit really, really nicely in there. So let's move on then, Quinn, to the 3 threats. And we're going to go through best and worst with these, but we're also then, for the 3, 4, and 5 threats, we're going to do characters who maybe are not the best in the game, but characters, Quinn, that me and you think... people definitely sleep on, some underrated characters that, we don't think maybe get the appreciation and are used as often as they probably should in the game. And I'm going to let you go first this time. And you can take the backlash for this one. But for your worst 3 threat in the game, you have got Clear, a.k.a. Clear.
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier with the worst 2 threats. And... Yeah, I don't like characters that can kill themselves. Leah rolls 5 dice to gain 3 power. If she rolls 5 skulls, she kills herself. I don't like this fact. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But that's obviously optional, right? You don't have to do that. And the chances of rolling 5 are slim to none, right? It's a minute chance.
You don't have to do it, but if you're not doing it, then she's not doing anything. She's standing there with absolutely terrible defensive stats and doing nothing with her attacks. This is not what I want from a 3 threat.
So obviously she's Convocation affiliated. We just did a Convocation video. And we obviously didn't include her in either of our rosters. I still think there are a few things that she can do for people.
She can die, yeah. That's one thing.
So I don't think she's the worst 3 threat. I believe the worst 3 threat in the game right now is your girl Ophelia. Just so bad. Doesn't like. I mean, yes, she's got 2 builders, which is okay.
One of them puts out stun on a wild, which is cool.
It does, and she dishes out poison, and she's got the. But I just look around and go, she's a long moving, and okay, she's got stealth, so she's got that, but she's a long moving 3 threat physical damage dealer. Who's in Cabal? If only there was another long moving.
What could this possibly be leading into?
Physical damage dealer that has better defensive stats, has rerolls, gives everybody else like it's she might not be the worst. I don't know, but there is a character that costs exactly the same that in every situation is better, in my opinion. And that's my problem with Viper, is that she's a nonsensical character, in my opinion, because somebody does everything she does better.
She has stealth.
She has stealth, but then all her attacks are range 3. So
she can get a 5 dice on her defense, and if she doesn't get damage, she does poison.
Poison's probably my least favorite special condition to dish out. I just really, she's got that what is it? Coiled serpent thing that, it's martial arts basically, isn't it? Where you get to roll 5 dice rather than your defense dice, and they take damage if they do no damage. The likelihood of somebody doing no damage, even with 5 dice versus 5 dice, is really low. It's like a 70-30 split. You're more chance to do 1 damage. So and for 2 power, I just don't think it's good. So yeah, there we go. There's my worst pick. If you guys have got any 3, there's a lot of 3 threats in this game. So let us know if there's other 3 threats.
3 threat is the most populated category of characters from what I can remember.
Yeah, I think it goes 3, 4, 5, 2, 6. I think in that order.
Yeah, it does.
So Quinn,
and then 7, and then 8, 7. Technically.
Yeah, I suppose there's no off the bat 7 threats, are there? No. But yeah,
until Odin comes out.
Yeah.
Right, AMG. Right.
Or it could be other leaders that are coming out that are 7 threat as well. Who knows? Oops, there we go. Quinn, onto your best. So, why is this not doing this?
Because you're bad at technology.
There we go. I am quite bad, yeah. So Quinn, onto who you think is the best in the game. This is going to come as no surprise to anyone, but it's your boy Helmet, right?
Yeah, your boy Baron, best dancer in the game, Zemo.
I don't know if anybody needs you to explain why you think Baron Zemo's the best, because you've done it so many times in other videos.
He's real good. He does all of the good things. Like,
he does
why
a lot.
would you not?
He does a lot of the
The
good
only
things.
thing he's missing is like Oshta's refuge, so he can heal other characters.
He does a lot. He's I would argue he is easily. I would argue he is easily one of the most, if not the most, splashable character in the game.
I think he is the most well-rounded 3-threat in the game because he does everything, and like the effects he has with regard to each of those things is pretty impactful.
I think that's fair enough.
He doesn't necessarily do control, but he can put out bleed, and that's technically control because it can lead to your opponent not taking actions.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Nuclear Kid, damn, I was happy with how I painted clear. Look, honestly, guys, this is just meant to be a little bit of fun because AMG haven't given us any news. You said painted clear. She's actually a really nice model. I quite
like Clear.
I actually really like Clear's model, but I like most of that Convocation wave. I think they were all really, really good.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Hood, just because he seems like a normal dude wearing like Red Riding Hood's cloak, and I'm just like,
He is a normal dude until he turns into his demonic form. So
yeah, the demon looked a bit meh.
Quinn,
like, meh.
I went slightly different than you. I took Wolverine as my favourite. Sorry, X-23. She's Wolverine, really. She's the Wolverine. She might not have been the Wolverine that we needed, but she's the Wolverine we got, and boy, is she better
Look
than
at
her
me.
fourth.
Look at me.
Fourth
I
right
am
counterpart.
the Wolverine now.
Quinn, you know me. I like murdering things.
I hadn't noticed.
She's got a reroll, right? So she can reroll her attack and defense roll. So she's equaling Zemo on at least that part, right? From the initial reroll piece. Adamantium Skeleton is really nice because it reduces the number of characters out there that can throw her. Yes, if it's if it's somebody who can throw a size 3, she's doing more damage, but it reduces them.
It's also very interesting that it doesn't work on pushes, whereas Logan's version of the rule does.
Yeah, it is a bit weird, that. It is a bit weird. For me, she has the best, or one of the best, 3-threat builders in the game. 5 dice with a pierce and a bleed. Is really, really good. With a reroll as well, just to add it off at the top there. 3-3-2, so yes, she's not got great defensive stats. But she's very mobile. So, she's got the same, her Claw Rush does similar thing to Steel Rush. The difference being that Steel Rush is range 3 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're both range 3. The difference between the two is the
you get pierce.
Pierce for X-23.
I'd always rather have a pierce than a bleed, I think.
Yeah.
But she's then got the frenzy, which is similar to what Angela has, isn't it? Where if she dazes, she gets to do another attack after a short advance, I think it is, which is really nice. I really, really like that. So quickly check on chat. It's got to be Shuri for my best 3-threat. Oh, Evan. Oh, Ewan, sorry, man. Oh, I could not disagree more on the Shuri.
In all fairness, we are both very, very open about the fact that we are killy players in this game, aren't we, Rich?
This is true, yes.
Shuri does control things. She does support things. She does not do kill things. Therefore, I dislike her. That's
a fair thing. On to 4-threat characters, Quinn. Sorry, no, not onto 4-threat characters. On to our most underrated 3-threat characters. So we looked at this, and basically anyone that had more than more than 15% take rate in the league just got discounted completely. If it's in more than 15% of the rosters in the TTS league, which is like nearly 300 players now, so it's a good sample size.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You couldn't take them, right? You couldn't choose them, but anything under 15% was fair. And what we were looking for are characters that we just thought people were sleeping on. Kaylee asks, no Black Cat.
I think there's kind of similar reasons as to why we didn't pick Shuri, right?
Yeah, I mean she's real good.
I have enjoyed her in like the bit of Criminal Syndicate testing I've done, but like She's not really part of any of the factions I play, and I have better choices for splashes.
You better have my boy Hawkeye in there. Well, you'll have to wait and see, Orange Pelkier.
Yes.
So, most underrated, Quinn. You picked a mutant.
Your boy.
Well, not your boy. Your girl, Domino.
Ah, everyone's my boy.
So you picked Domino.
I did. Yep.
Why Domino? So what makes her so good for you?
Crits are real good, right, Rich?
Yes.
Okay, so would you like a character that gets more crits and makes your opponent not get crits?
Yes.
Okay, I have a Domino I would like to sell you.
Excellent. I have to agree. I think she's really good.
I mean, also, like, being able to incinerate people guaranteed can be huge. Massive amounts of damage output if she's got the power for it.
Yep.
And with a guaranteed, like, 1 power builder with rapid fire, you know, you're going to have that power pretty often. The one annoying thing I find with Domino is when you do the rapid fire, and you get, like, 2 skulls and, like, a crit and a wild or something, and then you pay your 2 power and you roll all 3 crits in, and you don't get a single hit on any of them. And you're like, I've done a bunch of damage, but also I would have really liked that rapid fire.
Yeah, it is a bit frustrating, isn't it? But yeah, she's really good. I've gone in a very different route, Quinn. As you mentioned, we like characters that murder things.
A very different route.
A very different route. So I have gone with your boy Groot. This is a character that I do not see being played outside of Guardians almost at all. And I really do believe he is a exceptionally good splashable character in the right scenario. Now, the thing that lets him down is that 2 energy defense, but he's got a 14 stamina health pool, Quinn. 7 on the front, 7 on the back.
That's a lot of health.
He can spend 2 power to heal himself 3.
That's a lot of health.
You have to do 4 damage on him to negate that, basically. Like, if he hasn't activated, and yeah, I just think, let's go through what he does, right? Range 3, 5 dice builder, flat. There's nothing special there whatsoever. So he does struggle a little bit from power generation from that side, because he's not, he doesn't have the best power generation mechanism.
I mean, range 3 is nice. You know.
Range 3 is really nice. Yeah. It often means that he can be stood on even a back point, but towards the front of it, and still reach into other people that are contesting, because he's got that medium base. But I am Groot, okay? For me, one of the best spenders in the game. It's expensive. It costs 5 power, but it's 8 dice physical, which does some damage sometimes.
So, just very quickly going back to Bob and Iron Fist, I maintain that 8 dice of anything is better than 9 dice of anything. Not mathematically.
You just think it does.
But just completely, anecdotally, I've seen Iron Groot do way more damage than I've seen Iron Fist or Excessive Violence do. Absolutely.
So I am Groot, but he has 2 kickers in there that are not dependent on anything. You don't have to roll the wild, you don't have to do damage. First one is, before damage is dealt, throw the target character medium. Groot is in a very small group of characters that can yeet Dormammu. Medium, people. Medium. That is a long way that you can yeet a size 5 character. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And then, if you do whiff your turn, you whiff your dice, you're still dishing out stagger as a guarantee. He can then
the throw is a guarantee as well, right?
Get the throw and it is all guaranteed. Living Plant makes him so tanky. yes, he's going to take a hit. Very, very few characters are going to be able to one-shot Groot because of that health pool. Tangling Vines is one that I've slept on for quite a bit, but dishing out a root to a character that has a lot of reactive superpowers is really, really good. And then one thing I also want to throw in here, Quinn, is he has one of the best, if not the best, unrestricted healing card in the game. 3 power, and everybody, including himself, within range 4, that is 4, heal 2. And he can
I
use
always
it.
think that card is range 3, and I'm always pleasantly surprised when I look at it.
It's range 4, and he can use it out of activation. That's, for me, one of the key things. So you can wait until towards the end. And the number of times...
When you said that, like, he had the best of something in the game, I thought you were going in a completely different direction.
No. Wow. Where did you think?
Alter Ego.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, he's got the best alter ego as well. Before we move on to the 4 threats, then, let's have a quick look. Groot has a better spender than Hulk. LOL. Hey, folks. First time catching live. A new to MCP community. Cheers for the help in Discord. Ironside. Oh, welcome, buddy. I'm glad you joined the Discord. Did you get your game with Quinn? Did you give him the DTS game, Quinn?
We weren't supposed to play a game. We were supposed to just have a bit of a hobby hangout, but it never happened.
Okay, I'm sure we'll sort it out. Yeah. Nuclear Kid says, now I want to make a proxy baby Groot.
I mean, Nuclear Kid also brought up another interesting point, which is that Domino would be the best character at actually playing MCP.
Yes, you would. Yeah.
And I like to think that I'm actually constantly cosplaying Domino because of how well I roll.
Dear me, he does roll ridiculously. Tiny baby Groot in a flower pot on a huge base. Yeah, that would be cool. And then also he has a friend called Rocket as well. I'm going to backtrack as well, Quinn, for a second and say I also think 2 of the best 5-threat splashable characters in the game are actually not 5-threat characters. They're Groot and Rocket, and they're Honey Badger and X-23 as well. They're harder to splash because it's 2 characters. I get that, but I think they're a great, great option. Quinn, on to 4-threat characters then. And, I missed out a slide. There we go. So we've spoiled it, but...
How dare you?
There was lots, right? Lots of potential for this one. Wolverine is terrible. Elektra... We found a use. And by the way, we didn't mention it in the video. Big shout out to Marcus on the convocation side of it. He's the guy that was sort of did the workings out on KOing grunts in convocation. If you haven't checked out that video, go check it out because it's some really, really nice mechanics. But Quinn,
I think that's just how you sum up convocation, isn't it? They're just a bunch of really nice mechanics.
Yeah, but I've gone with the ballerina of Hell's Kitchen, and I think what made me go with this character is, I mean, he's real. He's not good, right? He's not good anyway.
What?
But he's also just had another alter ego of his character released that's the same threat level and infinitely better. And I think when you've got 2 characters that are the same name at the same threat, and one of them is just so much better than the other one, it makes the other one even worse in my head.
Like, if there was one thing I could steal from Shadowland Daredevil's card and put it onto the Ballerina of Hell's Kitchen card, what do you think it would be, Rich?
Would it be that option of being able to do the area attack, but... Okay, go on.
It would be the 4 physical defense.
Oh, yes.
Because that completely fixes this character.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Why he never just straight up had 4 physical, I do not know.
It is crazy, and I do want to make this comment, Quinn, as well, because when we're talking about best and worst, the gap between somebody going from the worst to the best, or the best to the worst, can be something as simple as give them 1 more stamina, give them an extra defense dice here. It's so close, isn't it, in terms of in terms of what good and bad looks like in this game. So yeah, Quinn, you went old school with yours, or as in like the character we've shit on for the longest. So you went with Piotr, didn't you?
Piotr Rasputin. Yeah. I went with your boy Colossus, also known as Pre-Buff Cap, in many circles.
Yes. Yeah. And what? Why did they make him like this? Especially when they...
Why is he a short move? Why is he a short move, Rich? Answer me this question. Riddle me this.
I remember when we played our first game. We played our first game ever, and you were testing him. And I think I was testing
our first game ever.
No, sorry, the first game that we were testing these new characters on. And you played him the entire game with the medium move.
And he was so bad.
Finished the game and went, oh my God, he's shit. And I went... I've just realised you've been playing him wrong the entire game. He's actually worse than what you think because he only has
I think it was me that looked down and went, "Oh, he's a short. He's even worse."
He's even worse.
Sheepishly went, "Rich, he's even worse. He's even worse."
Yeah, absolutely. It just makes me sad because I like Colossus as a character in the X-Men. Obviously, I'm a 90s child, so anytime X-Men are bad makes me sad. I spend a lot of time.
Oh, man.
I spend a lot of time being sad.
You're in like a deep bout of depression at this point.
To be fair, of the last 6 X-Men that we've had released, only one of them is bad. The other 5 are pretty good. Magic, Rogue,
I figured that out.
Gambit, Honey Badger X-23. So it's just that the others before them are not great. I think Cleo is supposed to be a very objective playing character because she can pseudo cube and teleport someone whenever she wants. Less useful if she's dead, though. Obviously,
I mean,
yeah.
I would like to direct you to Lockjaw.
Yeah, I'd rather unlock.
Who teleports further, generates power easier without any risk to himself, has more stamina, has better defenses, has a defensive and offensive reroll, and can also give your other characters even more dice against people.
Well, he also has a throw as well. He's got a range.
Yeah, he's got a
size 3 terrain throw.
And also, he's the goodest boy. Yeah. I've just given you 8 points on the fly. Best than clear.
I think bestest boy is the only one we need to worry about there.
Well, it's the crowning jewel, right?
It is, yeah, it is. On to the best 4 threat in the game, Quinn. And I went with your boy, Jericho Drum. Is it the character I enjoy playing the most? No. Is it the 4 threat character that I include in my rosters the most? No. But he is the best 4 threat in the game right now. He's real good. And to counter my choice of Dr. Voodoo, Quinn, you also went with Dr. Voodoo.
It's almost like he's objectively the best 4 threat in the game. I don't know, who'd have thought?
It's real hard, isn't it, to look past him when you're looking at splashable 4 threats. Yes, Nuclear Kid, Pet Avengers when. He just does so much. As we know, he's not the best sacrifice target, but outside of that, medium move, medium base means he can pick up back-end objectives. 2-2-4 doesn't look great, but in reality, that's 4-4-6 whenever you've got Brother Daniel on you. If you do want to make everybody drop or one person drop all of their shit, it's really easy to do. He just has so much utility. He can dish out damage.
He's got a carrot to throw, which is just gives him even more like scenario control because he can throw people off points. Like if there are 2 people on a point and he has enough power, which he probably will because he generates power like almost no one else. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like Sap on his builder, having a mystic attack at range 3, and also getting powerful skulls. You get a lot of power that way.
Yep.
Also having 6/6 stamina pool also means that he can take a hit and still be alive and relatively safe in doing things. It's not uncommon to see Voodoo just walk up to someone, go, throw you off of a point, possess the other person on this point. Where there were 2, there are now none.
Yeah. Also, immune to Hex, immune to Incinerate. For me, 2 of the best conditions to dish out there, at least from an attrition standpoint. You want to murder somebody, stop them rolling crits, make them roll, one less defense dice. He just doesn't care. And then Staff of Legba being able to power burn a character.
Yeah, I mean, and like
you brought super good.
You brought up being immune to Incinerate, but being immune to Hex as well is fucking bonkers.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Really, really
crazy. Because honestly, I think Hex is probably one of the best conditions in the game. Simply because it affects both defense and offense. It also affects throws, which is huge.
Yeah, and dodging. It flattens dice completely.
Yeah, which is a big thing in this game, because one of the reasons it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen in this game is because of the spiky nature of dice.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. If you can't roll crits, you can't explode crits, and you've got 3 defensive dice, the most defense you can ever roll is 3. That's it. Whereas, okay, you're not always going to roll a crit, but in 3 dice, probably
it's not unlikely.
30% of the time you're going to get a crit in there, which can often then just. I often then, if you've got anything else like, thinking of a cover or anything like that, that 4th dice can become. It just stops so much. So yeah, we're both in agreement, Quinn. Dr. Voodoo, and it seems like chat is as well. That Voodoo is currently
world peace.
Is currently the
with
best,
our unity.
Currently the best 4th threat. So, on to the most underrated 4th threat characters, and I'm going to start off with this one again, Quinn. And this is a guy that I really wish Gamora wasn't as good as she is, because I do think if she wasn't, he would be my 4th threat of choice in Guardians of the Galaxy, just because what he's got just synergizes so well with what they do. But it is your boy Killmonger. I mean, first of all, let's
say his alter ego.
Is it Njadaka? I can never get it right.
Njadaka, I think, or you can just call him Eric.
Eric is his name. Yeah. So why do I think he is underrated? Well, his defense, his baseline stats are pretty good. 4-3-3 is really nice. He's got the defense stats that Hell's Kitchen Boy should have. He's got a 5 dice builder with a pierce that is energy. Energy is the lowest, or on average, the lowest defense statistic there is out there. So he's more likely to do more damage. If he's following up another attack, he gets to increase that by 2. It's just innate, so focused on the kill. So really, if he's following up with that second attack, that second vibranium weapons, he's then going on a 7 dice builder with a pierce, which is just really, really good. He's also got charge. Yes, he's not a long move, so it's only a medium move, but medium move with a charge is
you'll take
really
medium
nice.
Move charge over long move not charge.
Exactly.
Like any day.
Exactly. And it's a proper charge as well. So you can charge and do a vibranium weapons, or charge and do a Black Ops strike.
It's also a proper charge in the sense that it doesn't cost 3 power and have a crappy effect on it. Cough, Wolverine, cough.
Yeah, absolutely. Special forces can be clutch, right? It's you're not going to be using it every game, but spending 1 power and being able to count your blocks as hits, instead of hits. Sorry, they don't count as well as, but being able to count your blocks as successes rather than your hits. If you have one of those just really bad rolls, it can come in clutch. If you're rolling 3 blocks out of your 5 dice, which I've had happen, spending 1 power for that is really, really nice. And then kill count. Daze or KO a character, gain a token. Use that token for a single reroll. And it's unlimited. So if you daze and KO 7 characters in a game, he has 7 tokens. If you just decide to go
grunt farming and kill one every turn.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And by the way, his card isn't getting changed, so it includes grunts, which just makes it even easier. I want to also add in there, Quinn, that he is again in a very small group of characters that have out of cleanup phase victory point scoring. So he can score victory points
He's
outside
the
of
only
cleanup
one
phase.
outside of cleanup, as far as I'm aware.
No, Blood Red and Personal.
Oh yeah, he exists.
And Black Order.
Blackwater don't get outside of the cleanup phase.
They do. They get it immediately.
Oh no, they do. He's KO'd.
Yeah, they get it immediately.
Unless it's Hulk.
Unless it's
And then
Hulk,
you do have
yeah.
Shield as well.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of like 3-Threat Widow. That was the thing that popped into my head. I was like, that's definitely cleanup.
But the
Steve's
difference
leadership doesn't work.
Yeah, but the difference here is that whereas Blood Red and Personal, it's KO only, whereas the leadership is KO only for Black Order, this is daze or KO. And you know what? You get enough power on Killmonger, you use a Usurp the Throne, you double tap into a Hulk, you've got a really good chance of taking him down with all the rerolls that you've got. It's very, very rare, Quinn, that I'm playing Usurp the Throne and I don't achieve my goal of scoring 2 VPs immediately because he's that good at killing things.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, because you have control of when you play it, you only play it in a situation where you feel comfortable that you will actually secure that kill.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
also, like, if your opponent has, like, a Thanos on the table, like a reality Thanos, you can just kill him with someone else and then kill the next highest threat person with Killmonger instead.
Yeah, that is true. That is absolutely true. So yeah, I really think he is a lot more splashable than people give him credit for. I think he's an absolute murder machine with, for me, one of the best damage outputs of any 4-threat character.
He's pretty good.
For me, he's really, really good. Quinn, you've gone somewhere not too far from home.
I've gone with his cousin, T'Challa, your boy, the Black Panther.
You have indeed. So why T'Challa?
Right, so there are a number of things that make T'Challa an incredible 4-threat. One, he has a long move. Long moves are good, aren't they, Rich?
There we go. Long moves are real good at getting you around the board.
Yeah, they are. And then, we could factor in that, he's got a 4-3-3 stat line. That's pretty good on its own, isn't it? And then we factor in that he's got vibranium armor, which means that he counts blanks on physical and energy, which makes that even better, because characters like Killmonger with Pierce don't get to do anything to him on his healthy side.
They don't. No, they don't.
And then we'll factor in that he's got a pounce for 2 costs. So, that's effectively guaranteed 3 damage onto someone, minus whatever they dodge.
Yeah.
And it's also a way to get non-action movement on the character. And then we'll factor in the fact that he's got Mantle of Black Panther, which lets him re-roll any number of dice on all of his attacks for the round. And it's 2 cost. That's pretty good.
He's got a lot of stuff, hasn't he?
I mean, I'm not done yet. And then we'll factor in that his strike is 5 dice physical, but has a guaranteed size 3 push on it, which means he's a good control piece. And then you've got Kinetic Burst, which is potentially, for 6 power, a 9 dice energy attack into someone. And if you roll a wild, you can do damage to everyone within 2 a Panther, and push them, and you can push your own characters, which means you might be able to reposition them to somewhere better for the low price of taking a damage.
I think people overlook Black Panther for one reason and one reason only. He's a leader.
Yeah.
And I think there is a resistance or not resistance, but you feel like you're losing out on something by not taking him as a leader. I've played you a number of times now against your Avengers list, Quinn, under Steve Rogers, and this guy just shines. Being able to do, spending 1 power for Mantle, and then or spending 1 power for Pounce is super, super good. So yeah, I agree. He is underrated, and maybe not as splashable as some of the characters, but they're 5 threats. Sorry, they're 4 threats. So they're always going to be that bit harder anyway to splash, because you tend to want to look at an in-affiliation 4 threat, but he's super good and he can do a lot of work.
He's all good.
So Quinn, on to 5 threat characters. You get to go first. Jean! Go on. Annoy everybody who loves X-Men. Why don't you like Jean?
Is she shit? Enough said. Like, I mean, where do I start? All of her superpowers cost 1 too many. There you go. That's a good one. She's got a bad builder for a 5 threat.
Yeah, 5 dice. Range 4. It's got a sap on there, but
3 physical defense with no actual defensive tech other than having, 7 stamina? That's
6.
not good.
6 on the front.
She's 6'7", I think.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's still not good. Yeah, no, I just do not like Jean. Having such a low physical defense with no actual, dice manipulation is so bad. It's such a bad place to be for a 5 threat. When you think of all of the great 5 threats, you think of people it used to be MODOK, right? Because he had his wild negation. You think of Scarlet Witch, who counts, an extra face on everything as a success with skulls. That is the hallmark of a good 5, in my opinion. I mean, it's Strange, right? Strange. Oh, I rolled, nothing but 2 crits. I'll pick up all 7 of these dice and go again. It is so good. And it's so needed as well.
Yeah, we spoke, haven't we? Or at least I've spoke about how I feel like as you go up in threat level, as a character, you should be less dependent on others around you or a leadership ability or anything like that. Yes, it can turn on things, but I feel like what they did with Jean is they went, oh, we want to give her an extra power a turn, but how do we counter that? I will just make everything cost 1 more. I'd rather everything cost 1 less and she get no extra power a turn.
Even if you just dropped her 3-cost superpowers down to 2.
Down to 2, yeah, it would feel better.
Because I don't know why she has to pay 3 power to push an activated character short. That doesn't feel great.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has to be within 2 as well, I think, which is... Ugh.
So I agree. Jean is not great, but Mitch, don't worry, buddy. I've got your back because I believe the worst 5 threat character in the game right now, second to none, is Thor. All of the Asgardians. There we go. Why do I think he's bad? Well, you look at his baseline stats, Quinn, and you go, actually, 4-4-3. It's pretty good. He's always going to have low mystic because he's a bit thick, right? Could he have had 5? Maybe he could have had 5. He is the god of thunder, but hey ho, 4-4-3. 6'8" is he, or 6'7"? I want to say
6'8". 6'8".
So 6'8".
Which is average stamina for a 5 threat overall.
Yeah,
it's just split a little bit awkwardly.
But I'm going to go through why I think he's bad. His strike, I don't have a problem with. Okay, his strike as a builder for a 5 threat character is really nice. It's the exact same builder that Thanos has got. Right, so I don't think there's a problem with that whatsoever. The only difference is that it's size 4 for Thor, and it's it's unrestricted for Thanos. Why Groot can yeet Dormammu, but Thor can't, is beyond me. But there we go. That's the rules of the game. I want to talk about Hammer Throw.
It's probably his best attack. Let's be honest. It
shouldn't cost a power. It should not cost a power. What I think it should do is generate a power. I really do think that needs to generate a power. His leadership ability, I don't have a problem with. I think it's absolutely fine. My biggest issue with him, Quinn, is that he is so dice dependent.
It really is.
And if I always say there's 2 versions of Thor that turn up, you either get Fat Thor or you get you get
rival in
Infinity War arriving Thor, and it's very rarely the latter. Strongest Avenger, he's got an enemy character, and yes, it's enemy character or terrain thrower, but it costs 1 more than what Angela's 4th terrain throw does.
I feel like that's fair considering it is a character throw. I don't think that's one of the main issues of Thor.
Yeah, but for Asgard, it's got so many things in there, but if it whiffs, It's 3 power on nothing.
I mean, it's 2 power when I play Thor.
Well, yeah. I really think as the sole leader of an affiliation of gods, he should have been looked at during the
I mean, like,
reworks.
I've said a number of times that I would have liked him to like have sort of a Friday AI style superpower where he can like give himself extra dice and like let's say we go with your idea of taking the power cost off of Hammer Throw and making it generate a power. In trade, I will take off the shock from that
Yeah.
and give him this new superpower. God of Thunder, we'll call it. We'll rename the area attack because it's shit. And we'll have it be called God of Thunder. Get 2 extra dice. You can choose the attack type of it between physical and energy.
Yep.
And it gives out shock. And I reckon that for about 3 power. Fine.
Yeah, it'd be so much better. To Mitch's point as well, we've now got Indomitable. So there's now even more ways to stop that throw that Thor does.
Like, you finally managed to roll a wild and your opponent spends 2 power and goes, no, fuck you.
Yeah, it's for me, just straight up worst in the game. No surprise who Quinn's best choice is, but Dr. Stephen Vincent Strange, you love him, don't you?
Oh, I love him so much.
Absolutely,
like,
love him.
You get to do the whole. It's great. It's real good. Like, I mean, come on, he's the best Marvel character. Like, he's the best original Marvel character, and I will argue with anyone on that point. I don't count Odin because he is actually a real thing.
I mean, he just does so much. You already spoke about it, but and he pivots. He can dish out damage. He's defensively really good. He can heal himself. He can heal other people. He can boost other people's defensive dice.
Right, so we'll go through his list of accolades. 1, he is the best support unit in the game. Full stop. He can increase defense dice, and he can heal people. 3 health. He is a walking med pack, right? So you got that, first of all. Then, you've got his control elements, right? So, for 1, his spender is incredibly powerful if you can get the roll off, and because of his dice manipulation, it's a lot easier than you think. I think it's a 49% chance to get the Mystic Binding off of Crimson Bands. And if you fail, you got a guaranteed stagger, which is also great. Then, in addition to that form of control, he's also got the ability to push any character of any size if he does damage with his 5 dice energy builder that you can re-roll all the dice on, including skulls. Like, offensively, being able to get that reroll, if you get crits in your roll, you are, like, his damage ceiling goes up so much by rolling a single crit. Even if you roll nothing else in that initial roll, you're effectively doing a brand new attack that's a dice higher.
Yeah, and let's be honest,
good.
It makes things like Crimson Binding, you may look at that and go, oh God, what are the chances of getting a crit hit in a wild?
I literally said it's 49%. It's real good.
It's so nice. It's so nice. Let's just check some things. Mitch, agree. 2 tactics cards to stop throws now, so 100% agree. Yes, some things that add dice, I agree. When you can get 7, 9, 10 dice from T4s and other 5s, Thor needs some help because his main damage effects are minimised. Yes. Also. And Nuclear Kid, we also like to see it. Wizard voice.
Or
so you can
kind of shitty American accent if you're Benedict Cumberbatch.
Also, let's be honest, the best name of any superpower in the entire game, which is Hogarth's Holy Wisdom, of course. On to my best 5 threats, and it will probably come as no surprise to anyone that's watched a video or indeed played against me, because this guy just puts in work no matter where I take him. But it's your boy, Jonathan Strange. Strange? Blaze, even. And yes, I've used the old version of his card. It just fits better, okay? It just fits better.
You suck.
Why is he good? Why is he good? Well, his damage output is amazing. He is now 8-7 stamina, so way up in the upper echelons of stamina for 5 threats. He's immune to pretty much everything that's bad. Hex, Incinerate, bleed, all the things that are going to make it harder to kill him, or easier to kill him, sorry. But for me, the two things that catch people out the most with this is Wicked Judgment and Spirit of Vengeance. Spirit of Vengeance, anytime a character on your team is attacked, it has to be an attack, and then takes damage, he gains a power. So there are times where, Quinn, I'll put people forward, tankier people forward, in the hope that they take a damage, because I'm putting a power on Ghost Rider. Get him to 3 power, and he gets to use a turn 1 Hell on Wheels, a long move on a large base, which basically means he's then in range of almost anyone on the board to double tap them with his Chains of Damnation. However, the one that really catches people out, Wicked's Judgment. After an attack is made, doesn't need to do damage, but after an attack is made to another allied character within range 3. Now, the key thing here is that it's the attacker that has to be within range 3, not the character that's being attacked. And it's at the end of the attack has happened. So if that character starts outside of range 3, but then has a trigger at the back end that gives them a place or a move, and they end that attack action within range 3, he gets to spend 2 power and does 1 damage for every crit they have rolled. The number of times I've seen this take out big characters with big dice pools and they're rolling loads of crits is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Then let's take into the fact that he's got an amazing beam attack. Range 3 beam. It's only 5 dice. It costs 2 power, but if it does a damage, it dishes out Incinerate. And then Penance Stare. 5 power for 5 dice, but then 1 more dice for every power your opponent has, up to a maximum of 5. So typically, this is going to be a 10 dice attack. But the really good thing about it is, rather than your opponent taking damage and then gaining power, they lose 1 power for each damage they take, and they don't gain power from the attack. It is so good.
It's real good in the Ghost Rider off.
So the thing, Quinn, is that, so you go, well, I'm not going to attack people. I'm not going to attack the rest of the team because I need to focus down Ghost Rider. Because whatever Ghost Rider's there, Quinn, he's going to be doing all of these little chip damages. And, 2 power for 1 damage might seem like really bad investment, but actually against characters that have got defense tech, like an Iron Man or someone that's got an invulnerable, it's really nice. Chipping away 1 damage is really good. So you go, right, we're going to focus him down. He's our primary target. Well, he has a little deal with the devil that he's got in place. So if you do manage to KO him, he spends 4 power. He comes back. He basically takes over the soul of another person, places himself within range 1 of the character, keeps all of his power, loses all of his conditions, loses his activated token, if he's got one, and he comes back in whatever state the character was. So 2 threat nebula that's on a healthy side, not a problem. He comes back on his healthy side without an activated token, and just as a kicker, incinerates everybody within range 2 of him that's an enemy.
It's pretty good.
Which is real nice. He's just great. He's absolutely great. Quinn, most underrated 5-threat character for you. You picked first, so you went with Loki and the Space Gem.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if it hadn't have been Panther, Loki probably would have been my choice for most underrated 4. Like, he's real good, and I think like Loki kind of has a parallel issue to his adopted brother, right? So, Thor's issue that is his dice are bad. He has like a decent quantity of dice. It's just that if he doesn't get the results he needs, they're not great. Loki, inversely, smaller dice pools, but can count blanks for 2 power, right? Yeah. That's really good. But the issue Loki ends up having is that like the rest of his stats everywhere else aren't quite high enough to make use of that counting blanks a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because he's got 5/5 stamina, And like, even if you're on 3 dice counting blanks against physical, you are still very vulnerable to spikes.
He's got 3 attacks, one of each, which I think may be a unique trait in this game. A character that's got one of each attack type.
I mean, technically, Deadly Daggers of Daggeroth exist.
But as in like printed on their card, with the three different colours. But they're only 5, 4, 6. So again, he's not maximising those blanks, is he? But the one thing I will say about a god, I am a god Quinn, that people often forget is it's before you roll your dice. That means you get to, when you're defending, you get to see your opponent's attack roll before you choose whether or not you're going to spend the 2 power.
Yeah, and it can be so good for just like keeping your power safe because, like, how many times have you invested in some defensive tech and your opponent's just blanked out against you, and you're just like, well, that was a waste.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they'll do like a follow-up attack, and suddenly it'll like spike and massively overkill you, and you're just like, really wish I'd kept that defensive tech there.
Especially with the space gem, because that's costing 2 power a turn, or 2 power to spend on the superpower there. So yeah, and also things like Trickster make him just that much bit harder to kill than a lot of other characters in the game.
Yeah, and like being able to Trickster every turn with the space gem is like invaluable a lot of the time for keeping him safe.
Yeah,
and then you have to go into the fact that he has the Trickster aura, right? The
got a mischief.
Right.
Yeah, got a mischief.
So like that aura is so powerful. Basically, having range for everyone here has root, and you can't shake it because I'm Loki, and I'm gonna make you hate yourself.
Yep.
It's real powerful, and not only that, when he flips, also everyone now has Hex.
It's he becomes.
I feel like they nailed Loki in this game just because he's so irritating to fight.
Yeah.
Like, he might not be the hardest hitter. He might not be like the most control-oriented character, but good God, is he annoying?
It's just annoying as hell, and he becomes a primary target, doesn't he? And whilst ever somebody's trying to focus down a character, they're ignoring other characters and they get to do their stuff. So, yeah, I think he's a great pick. I went slightly different. I went for a mutant, whose twin we've not had yet in the game, but I am looking forward to seeing him. He may be the redemption of the X-Men if he's released as the 3rd leader. But it's Cassandra Nova. Tanky Cassandra Nova, as she's called.
Cassandra Nova, as she's known, yeah.
But I do think people are sleeping on her a little bit, because I think she brings some really good things to the game, and she's just got so much control in this game. She does so much, and also control with then the trigger of being able to do a tricks and traps-esque type attack as well. So, is she going to be, are you going to be able to fit her into every single roster? Absolutely not. She needs a bit of help. She's got a lot to spend power on. And quite often you're wanting to spend her power on mind possession. So the 1 power a turn that she gets, you're wanting to spend on mind possession, which costs 1.
I do also think that something that is massively overlooked with regard to Cassandra Nova is just how good biokinesis is.
Yep.
Being able to put out root and slow on someone at range 3 for, is it 2 power or 3?
3 power. Yeah,
3 power. Like, that can be so, like, that can ruin some characters. Like, Black Cat, have fun trying to run away with that extract now.
Oh, people keep asking me, Quinn, like, Rich, how do you go against Ghost Rider? I tell you what you do is you slap root and slow on him. Because,
and like, if you could afford it, slap a judgment on there as well.
Yeah, like, because he really doesn't like it. But yeah, I really like her. She's also, she can be immune to collision damage as well. You've already spoke about how throws are a really good way of getting guaranteed damage onto, or guaranteed hits onto people. She can just negate all of that. So I really like her. Yes, she's got one of the shittest models in the game, but I do think people are sleeping on her.
I converted my one to look less shit.
There we go.
Because I took her off the stupid little fire hydrant and actually had her on the ground, and I brought her arms down so she didn't look like she was going, oh!
So, Quinn, on to the 6 threats, worst and best. And you went first last time, so I get to go first this time. And there's obviously not as many 6 threats to pick from, but I do think there is one 6 threat that stands out as the worst 6 threat in the game, bar none, and that is Thanos. And when you were asked the same question, you also picked Thanos. Now, don't get me wrong, Quinn. He is key for Black Order, right? He's absolutely key. He is an amazing character outside of Black Order. But that's a different version of Thanos.
It's a very different version of Thanos, yeah.
Thanos without gems, for me, is the worst 6 threat in the game. He may be one of the worst.
He generates 1 power a turn. All of his things cost 2 power. What else? Oh yeah, he's got a range 2 attack and a medium move, medium base. So he has to walk up to someone, probably moving twice round 1, and then he has to punch them and hope that he actually rolls well enough on a 6-dice strike that's basically Thor's with no dice mitigation, so he can actually do things. I enjoy the sound of this character.
Yeah, he's just not good. He's not good at all. But on the flip side of that, Quinn, we both went for the same character, and you'd be glad to know that he's in his new format because there was room for this one. It's Hulk.
Yeah. Now, there were probably a lot of people going, but what about Magneto? Magneto's a good character. It's like, yeah, Magneto is a good character in affiliation.
And I think that's the key difference here, is that I would say that Hulk in Avengers and Magneto in Black Order.
Black Order?
Sorry, in Brotherhood. Magneto.
Okay. You've been running rich.
I know. Magneto just edges it for me. I think Magneto is marginally better than Hulk. So, okay, well, he's just better there. Hulk can be other places as well. You genuinely can splash Hulk. Yeah, and he's pretty good. He's pretty darn good. So, yeah, I mean, is he better in affiliation? Absolutely. Having under Steve's leadership, he is amazing. But he can be in other places as well. Anyway, we've seen people playing him in Black Order, in Brotherhood, and getting that extra power onto him. The fact that he's got so many throws as well, both characters and terrain, lean into that. I'm not a massive fan of him in Brotherhood, but I know people have had some success with it. But yeah, and the thing I will say, Quinn, is that really the list of 6 threats, they're not really, they're not that splashable, are they? Once you start getting to 6 threat, it's really hard to find a place for them. I mean,
unless you're running like a really wide affiliation that can have like this big centerpiece character, like Guardians, if Ghost Rider didn't exist, or like whatever else might be out there. Like, there's probably some variant of Web Warriors you can run where you can like have Hulk in there. He probably survives a lot longer actually, because people
he probably does.
People tend to sink a lot of attacks into Hulk.
Well, he becomes a centerpiece that people want to try and take down. Hulk 100% splash with him all the time. Thank you for doing this, but in school. KJ, you should definitely go back to school. Mitch loves Loki, and then S1987 said that's why my defenders is Strange, Ghost Rider, Scarlet Witch, and Wong. I love Mags at 6. Mitch, so do I, but I'm only ever playing him in one affiliation, and it ain't.
And you're not allowed to play that affiliation.
And it ain't alongside the Nazi. So there we go. Guys, we jump now. We're not going to do an overlooked 6 threat. There's only like 5 of them or something daft like that. So
there's like at least 6, I think.
Yeah.
I know actually 6 threats. That's not true.
So
if you include gems.
If you include gems. So Quinn, you go first this time. Did you? Yeah, it's you first this time. So, worst 8 threat character in the game.
Keep in mind that we're ignoring 7 threats because they're all just variations of Thanos.
They're all just variations of Thanos. Yeah, I mean it's soul or power. Choose whichever one you want. Yeah. But you have gone with Thanos, but you've gone with Thanos with surprisingly the soul and power gems.
Because I mean, what's better than 6 threat Thanos? it's Thanos that costs 2 threat more and has the power to do all of his things, and then also not make use of being of immeasurable power.
Yeah, that's the key thing there, isn't it? That these two both have innates that cost nothing, so there's no benefit. You know, he doesn't. Thanos generates more than enough power, right? He doesn't need any more help. The 2 gems isn't enough, so he doesn't then need even more on top of that. So yeah, I would be in absolute agreement, Quinn, that he is the worst version of Thanos. I don't, however, agree that he is the worst 8th threat in the game.
mean, it was a close call. Let's be honest.
It was a close call.
Pretty bad.
And I apologise in advance. I don't. It's Dormammu.
You really don't.
It's Dormammu.
Yeah.
He is the worst 8th threat in the game. His stamina pool is not great for an 8th threat. When you consider the fact that he has absolutely 0 defensive tech whatsoever. Like, he doesn't get innate. He's not.
He can push people away from him once they've hit him.
He's not even immune to Hex. Like,
that does seem real weird.
He's not even immune to Hex. Yes.
Somehow, Dr. Voodoo is immune to Hex, and Dormammu isn't.
Yeah. So, Incinerate, Bleed, Stagger, but he's so easy to take out. So then what you end up doing is building around him to try and protect him and do whatever. And yeah, I just really, really don't like him. When he was first released, I thought it was going to be our next love in the game. He's not, for me. Yeah, he is the worst 8th threat in the game. And that leads us to the best 8th threat in the game, Quinn, which is, unsurprisingly, a variation of Thanos.
Oh, who'd have thought?
But maybe not the variation that people think. But we both agree,
not the variation that people see most often, is it?
Yeah, we agree, Quinn, that the best version of Thanos is space and reality. Now, obviously, in Black Order, you're going to be giving up that reality gem and giving it to Corvus. But anywhere else, Thanos with the reality gem, getting those extra crits, being able to find the Kree core or the Skrull is just really, really good. He gets to do most of the shenanigans that he does, minus the mind gem. He can boost people. And it's really weird because whilst we say that 6th threat, really hard, it's really hard to splash a 6th threat, splashing an 8th threat is somehow easier because it allows affiliations that can't normally go tall to go tall.
Yeah.
But he does a lot. He can dish out damage and he also just boosts everybody around him as well from an attack perspective. So,
yeah. I mean, you can even use him as a way to just undo any sort of displacement your opponent does over the course of a turn by having him go last and be like, oh, you really displaced that character. I'm going to move them range 2 with the space gem. Then I'm going to pay 2 and move them range 2 again. They're now back in your face, ready for me to have prior next turn.
That's why I ran him in Brotherhood, right? I had a 20 threat Brotherhood list that was Scarlet Witch is back in the old days of gems, but Scarlet Witch, Thanos, and Magneto, 3 tall at 20 threat. Yeah. And he would just bring Magneto back, and then Magneto would just destroy everyone. So yeah, that's our rundown, guys. Let us know in the comments, do you agree? Do you disagree? It was just a bit of fun because we don't have anything else to talk about, really. One thing we do have to talk about, though, is our competition winners and or our painting competition, I should say. And I think it was a bit unfair, the challenge I set this week, Quinn, because
it was a bit shit, wasn't it?
A full roster of 10 mutants.
They weren't even mutants. You were like, oh yeah, you can have Juggernaut. He's not a mutant.
Really, really annoyed by that part, aren't you?
Yeah, because he's not a mutant.
You really didn't like that. Really, really surprised. Really surprised. Anyway, as always, our weekly painting competition, you put them through on Discord. Let's go through then and take a quick look, because the first honourable mention was for Joe Manji. So really, really nice paint job here. Really clean. All of the mutants, some we love, some we hate. But yeah, overall...
I will say, I really like the choice of the red cape on Cable, because a lot of people have done sort of the beige tan one.
Yes,
But like,
yeah, they have.
I do really like actually the color contrast of the blue and red in that specific setting. Because also it kind of evokes Bishop, right? Because I think Bishop wears a red scarf.
Yes, yeah, I think he does actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he does. I want to call out the Sabretooth. I think that Sabretooth is a really, really nice paint job. And it's a nice, clean, white background. We like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, pictures of me and Quinn in the background usually help, but you know, we'll let it rest. But yeah, really, really nice paint job. Is there 10 there? Is there more than 10 there?
There's more than 10
It's
there, yeah.
more than 10. So you overachieved. So
I
well
think,
done.
is it literally all of the mutants?
I think it could be.
Bar like Sinister and Nova.
Yeah, Sinister Nova, Juggernaut. Obviously, he's not actually a mutant, but
There's no Gambit in there. There's no Gambit in there.
yes, there is no Gambit. So yeah, but yeah, super good job. Really, really nice paint job. So well done, Joe Mangia. And then next is, I believe it's it's Gavin. It's Gavin. So another honourable mention. We did get Sinister on this one. I really, really liked, although he's one of my least favourite mutants. I really liked the paint job of Wolverine on this one, Quinn.
It's very Days of Future Past, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really liked. Really, really liked that one. Nuclear Kids says, I'm hoping this week's contest involves painting fewer than 10 minis. I'm sure it will. But yeah, really, really good. Where do we post our picks for the future? On Discord, Mitch. So there's a place on Discord where you can find them all. So yeah, really, really good work, Gavin. The only feedback I will give is that you need to work better on your light box. I think we can tell it's a cardboard box, just as a guess. I do jest, but yeah, really, really well done. And then me and Quinn toed and froed about this. I should have said
no.
Froed.
You throwed, I toed very hard.
Very, very hard. And we felt like this was both in keeping with how serious we take this channel, in keeping with the character that this person has chosen to display. And the winner this week is Lars with his 10 Mr. Sinisters. This just cracked us up when we saw it. We both really, really enjoyed this one. It was really, really funny. It's overall, it's a really good, nice, clean paint job. But I think it was just the audacity of, I imagine something along the lines of, well, shit, I don't have 5 characters, or 10 characters, sorry. So what I'm going to do is just cheat. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. So
it's not cheating, Rich. It's creative use of game mechanics.
Creative use of game mechanics. Yes, yeah. So well done, Lars. You win our Painter of the Week. You'll get put up in our Wall of Fame. But everyone that entered gets entered into our prize draw. So Quinn, it was look, Mum, I'm on TV. Lars, well done, buddy. So Quinn, I chose last week's. That means you get to choose this week's. What madness will ensue?
I mean, Nuclear Kid is kind of like, poking the bear, right? Oh, I hope it's less than 10 characters this week.
Don't do it.
I'm going to declare face off. Two full rosters facing off against each other.
It's not.
It is.
Is that actually it?
Yeah.
And just to clarify, guys, you don't have to paint them in the week. They don't all have to be painted in this week.
No, new rule. This week, they all have to be painted this week.
So what are we saying? Like recreating the box art of the two rosters going off against each other. Exactly. But that one thing I will say, guys, is, and we'll put this in the Discord as well, but there will be no Weekly Bugle next week. It's Easter holidays here next week in the UK. So I have no kids that day on the Friday. So I imagine at 4:00 I'll be intoxicated somewhere. So yeah.
Only at 4. Only at 4.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, we're going to round it up here because it has run on a little bit, and both me and Quinn do have places to be, people to go. We've got a great tournament happening this weekend at Element. Tickets are still available. And head on over to the Element Facebook group. Go look at the events. It's all in there. We have our charity giveaway happening. We've got some amazing prizes now, guys. So please make sure you take that out. Go take a look at that. Again, there'll be a link down in the description below, or head over to Discord and you can see all of the details on there. It's for a great charity. But yeah, guys, hopefully, I mean, there's been like almost 40 of you guys in chat, so hopefully you've really enjoyed it. Hopefully next week, fingers crossed, or 2 weeks from now, we get some more goddamn news. So it'd be nice to have some actual news to talk about. But as always, guys, it leaves us with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time,